Hello YouTube! Scott here with another instant review. Coming at you with Marvel's What If, Episode 3. Now I really want to gush about this one because it was really cool, but I'm going to try to get to some non-spoilery things first. First of all, the voice casting was, as usual, superb, except they didn't really get everybody to voice their characters. There were a few notable exceptions. I don't want to get into too many spoilers, but Iron Man is not voiced by Robert Downey Jr. Brie Larson didn't voice Captain Marvel. General Thunderbolt Ross is not William Hurt. But to be fair, Betty Ross isn't voiced by Liv Tyler either. I mean, there was a nice change where Hulk is voiced by Mark Ruffalo, except we're at the point in the timeline when it was the Incredible Hulk movie and he was played by Edward Norton. When I heard him and I recognized that voice, I actually laughed a little bit. I like that. And the story is oddly compelling and pretty believable, actually. I'm probably just going to jump into the spoilers, so. I think the main change in this timeline from Marvel Prime, as I've decided to call the MCU timeline, is that Hope Pym went by Hope Van Dyne, taking her mother's name instead, and instead of working at her father's lab, became a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. But we don't find this out until a little bit later. So this actually starts at the point in the MCU timeline where, as we know, the events of Iron Man 2, Thor, and the Incredible Hulk all took place in the same week. And the episode actually goes like that, from day to day. You know, on Monday, you've got that meeting at the donut shop between Fury and Iron Man and Black Widow. And she injects Tony with the thing that's supposed to stop the spread of his suit being poisoning him. Except he drops dead. And Natasha's obviously blamed for it. And Fury knows she's innocent, but she needs to find out what's going on, so she makes her way out of custody and escapes. The next day, well, there's a hammer in New Mexico, and Coulson's there. Love Coulson. Best boy. And the events of Thor play out mostly the way they did, except at the point when Thor's about to grab his hammer and see if he can pick it up, and Hawkeye has an arrow trained on him. There's a flash of lightning, and he shoots the arrow even though he was told not to. And he, shoots Thor basically through the heart and kills him. And while he's in S.H.I.E.L.D. custody, he's murdered. So nobody can figure out what's going on. And we get to Wednesday. Natasha's seeking out Betsy Ross, because she wants to find Bruce Banner, because clearly somebody's killing potential Avengers. And she finds him, and there's this whole standoff with the military, while at the same time, Loki, who I actually suspected, because, that was what happened, in the Thor movie, he came down and just sort of slipped in and out of the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility where Thor was being kept. But no, he comes down with an army and Thor's friends, Lady Sif and the Warriors 3, demanding vengeance for his death. And I thought it was really great to see Loki on his side and not, at this point, not plotting to take over Asgard. And there's fights on both sides, and while the Hulk's fighting with the military, he suddenly starts swelling up, like going Super Hulk, just bigger than you've ever seen him, and he explodes. And it would probably be disgusting, except he just kind of goes green smoky. And then there's the point where Natasha realizes what happened, but she starts getting beat up by an invisible enemy before she can really tell Fury about it, and she just leaves him a voicemail. Now Fury gets that message, and he realizes what's going on, and he goes to make a deal with Loki. And then he goes to San Francisco. And that is where it all went down. Well, no, that's where you find out what's going on. Because Fury goes to the grave of Hope Van Dyne. There isn't going to be an Ant-Man movie the way it happened in Marvel Prime, because in this timeline, Hope was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and she died. And it kind of drove Hank Pym crazy. And we get to see crazy-looking Hank Pym voiced by Michael Douglas, which is great. He actually takes Fury on in the Yellow Jacket armor, not the Ant-Man suit, which is an interesting change, because he feels like S.H.I.E.L.D. took everything from him. But he can't really land a punch on Fury, and you don't know why until Fury starts doing things no man should be able to do, and you realize, oh, Loki's up to his old tricks. His little illusion power. He defeats Hank, the Asgardians take him away, and then Loki decides maybe he's going to stick around for a while, and it switches to the last day, and Loki's taken over the Earth. So honestly, this is not the timeline I would want to live in, even though right at the end, Fury's looking for more heroes, and he finds a certain shield buried in the ice, and let's just say someone answered his page. They didn't get Brie Larson to come back and do Captain Marvel's one line, though. So, I mean, what are you going to do? All in all, this is an interesting look at the earlier part of the MCU timeline. You got Coulson saying the Avengers fell before they even had a chance to rise, which was sad. And if you're saying they weren't quite done yet, I think partially because, he considers Coulson an Avenger. He said so in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It would kind of be interesting to see how the rest of this played out. Would Captain America be unfrozen and work together with Captain Marvel to drive the Asgardians off of Earth forever? Obviously, we're not going to get that, but it would be cool if we did. I gotta admit, this is kind of not the storyline I would have expected for 3 episodes in. I mean, this is all about what would happen if things happen differently in the MCU. The Avengers are the core of MCU, so you'd kind of think this would be a season finale. Like, they would end the season like, well, what if the Avengers never existed? So it's interesting that they're doing this now, and I gotta say, I'm really curious to see what happens next week. And I guess we'll find out. But until then, I'm Scott, and this has been Opinions No One Cares About. Everyone has opinions. This one is mine.